Hi everyone, how are you? So I'm here in my kitchen and I wanted to share with you, I'm about to make some burgers, and I wanted to share with you some tips about how to make clean burgers easy because it's that time of year, it's barbecue season. I got my Shakeology apron on that I got, yay, for free, for helping other people as a prize. I love that free swag, you know, so I gotta make use of it. So here's what, okay, this camera is not so good. Here's what I wanted to share with you about making clean burgers, because you can really do anything with burgers that you want. And that's the beautiful thing, is you can flavor them however you want. And everybody thinks that burgers are bad for you, and they're not. It depends on what you make them with, and it depends on how you put them together and how you cook them. None of this can be complicated, and the burgers I make are just as good as regular burgers. And you could even use beef. You could use lean beef if you like, but I always use the ground turkey because it's just easier and it's leaner, and it's just, I always have ground turkey in the house. Whenever it goes on sale at Stop and Shop, I buy a whole bunch and put it in the freezer, so I always have some. But so for what I usually like to do, you don't need eggs, you don't need breadcrumbs. You can use eggs and breadcrumbs. You can use eggs and whole wheat breadcrumbs, panko. Like, there's tons of things that you can use, but you don't need either of them, and they're just as good. And here's why. So what you do is, I have here my little bowl of goodies to show you what I make with them. So I use ground turkey. So I always make at least 2 packages of ground turkey when I make burgers, and that makes 8 burgers about. And I do that because what is the point in making 4 burgers? We're gonna eat 8, and if we don't, or more, and if we don't, I freeze it by a certain date. You know what I've started to do, because I end up throwing out things because I don't freeze them in time. I'm bad. So what I started to do is take a sticky and put it on a container. So what I do is every time I finish making something, so like this is chili, and because I put a sticker on it, that's how I know. I put a sticky on it that says what it is, freeze by whatever date, so that I can freeze it by that date. Doesn't always happen, but doesn't always happen, but you know, we try. It's better to try. There's a better chance of it getting in the freezer by a date if I put freeze by, and if I put the name on it so that we can defrost it and know what it is. So my favorite things to do with burgers. So I just take always 2 packages of ground turkey. I get the 93% lean. You don't need the 97. It just gets really kind of dry at that point, and I would just rather have a little bit extra moisture in there. So that's what I do. So 2 packages of that. A bag of fresh spinach. You can get it like this. You can get it in the box. Usually this was on sale this week, so I got this. But usually I'll get the organic spinach in the box. And then what I do is, another little tip. Oh no, guys, I removed my tools. No, that's right, it should be. Okay, this is my sharp things drawer. These right here, I used to sell Pampered Chef, so I'm obsessed, and I've always been obsessed with them, so they have really great products. This one is worth its weight in gold. It's called Salad Chopper. It locks and stays shut in your drawer so that you don't hurt yourself. But you open it. So this will chop salads. It will chop anything. I make chicken fajitas in the stoneware in the microwave. They're really good. That's another episode. And I chop it all up together. It will literally chop anything because it's got like the really good Pampered Chef knife in there. So, and it's scissors. So I'll usually get the box of spinach, and at the beginning of the week I'll go in there and I'll just chop it all right up in the box so that I have chopped salad ready to go, and then I portion it out after that so it's good to go. But for this, we're going to put this in the bowl and chop it up. Turkey. This is the secret ingredient right here. Roasted peppers. Make sure you buy them in water, never in oil. Oil is like way extra fat and unnecessary because they're juicy enough. These things, I put them in everything. I put that shit in everything. I do. Because they always add a little bit of extra flavor. They always add extra moisture, juiciness, and it's always just like a little bit of something extra that makes it really good. So I put these in burgers, I put these in omelets, I put these in everything. Meatloaf, like whatever. So I take a jar of these and I chop them up. I put them mix them with the burgers. And then an onion. It's like a pretty big Vidalia onion. I'll do one of these whole for the 2 packages, and it really depends on my mood. Like today, I'm just trying to get it in and get it done because I'm hungry. You might hear my stomach rumbling. So I'm just gonna chop this up, you know, like regular chopped onion size, like diced, and I'm gonna put it straight in there raw because it's gonna cook a little as you cook it, and like a little bit of crunchy onion is always good. What I've also done and what you also can do is you can chop this up and saute it, you know, on a low flame with, you know, spray the pan with either olive oil or coconut oil. I love coconut oil spray. Trader Joe's is always on. It's always cheap. It's not even a sale. It's just that cheap. It's the best way to get it. I'll show you. I keep running away from the camera. So good. So this you chop up, and then you can either saute it with that with a little bit of salt. Over a low flame for a while until it gets kind of caramelized, and you could use it that way. That's a really good way to add some extra flavor to it. Or you can just chop it up raw, which is what I'm going to do today. And then for seasoning, so there's like a billion different ways that you can season a burger, and it depends on what you want. You can go Mexican, you can go Italian, you can go French. I love herbes de Provence. It's one of my favorite seasonings. Do I have one that I can show you? I bought it. Ooh. Hi. I fell down. It happens. Okay. Herbes de Provence. This I got from like the Marshall's Creek Spices. Like they do their own seasoning mixes. But this is one that I use. It's like a French, think of it as like a French Italian seasoning if you don't know what it is. It's got rosemary, thyme, marjoram, basil, a little bit of lavender, some savory, and fennel. It's not overly lavendery. It's not overly fennelly. It's, you know, it's mostly heavier on like the rosemary and thyme and marjoram. It's really, really good. It adds flavor to everything. I put this, I love in omelets, but it's also really good in burgers. It's really good as like a general all-purpose seasoning that I use, like either this and or Italian seasoning together. Because really it's not that far off of what Italian seasoning is. So you add some basil and oregano, you're good to go. So that's the seasoning you can use, or you can use a mixture, a blend of whatever you like. You know, I keep mixtures in the house of all kinds of things. I go through chili powder and cumin like crazy because I'm always making Mexican flavored things. I also go through like the Pampered Chef blends are really good. Just be careful when you're shopping for mixed seasoning blends, because if you get ones that are, a lot of times they're heavy on the salt, and that's going to make it like not good for you, especially if you're sensitive to salt. Salt's going to make you retain water. You know, I'm a big fan of salt, so I'm not going to say like a no salt diet, you know, but try to keep it as low as possible. And I like to be able to control it when I can, so that I'll just get a mixed blend. Like Mrs. Dash has a lot of really good mixed blends of no salt seasonings that you can use. And then add your own salt. Like I always keep either Himalayan sea salt or regular sea salt because it's better for you, in my fresh grinder, and I just buy it, you know, and grind it as I go. So that's how I like to add it. But sometimes if you find a mix that you really like and it has salt in it, like it's fine. Just try to ease up on all the salt that you're eating the rest of the day, so that that's like the one place you're getting it. And don't get like, you know, crazy high prepackaged, like they have a lot of the mixes that are just like loaded with salt with like, you know, 20% of sodium in 1 teaspoon for your day. So don't do that. But this, I mean, this doesn't even have the sodium count, and I know that it has salt, and I know that salt's the first ingredient, which usually means that's the most. But I love it so much, and I'm not going to use that much of it. This is the spicy Montreal steak. It's so good. It's really good burger flavor. It goes on. I put this shit on everything. But what do I put on everything the most if you like spicy? Do you see how tiny this bottle is? It may look bigger than the normal size bottle, and it is, but we had a Restaurant Depot size bottle, and we just killed it recently, and it was the saddest thing ever. So we'll go through this. This is like 12 ounces, but the normal bottle's like this big. We'll go through this in like a week. It's bad. But so I always put this in my burgers. You know, if you don't like spice, don't do it, but hot sauce is always a great way to just like add a little zing. So that's basically it. You mix all those things together, make the patties. I will like mix it together and then score it like into, you know, once you have everything together, I mix it all together. I use my hands. I'm Italian. I use my hands to talk. I use my hands to cook. They're the best tools we got, especially for making burgers. If you're squeamish about raw meat, you know, I don't know, put gloves on, get out of the kitchen, make your husband or wife do it. I don't know. Desiree literally has to leave the kitchen when I make anything with raw meat because it grosses her out. But it doesn't bother me. So I just mix it with my hands, and then I will take my hands and like score it just in a cross section of 4. And then from there, you know, you make 8 burgers out of it. So you just break it again in half. Just, you know, you don't have to measure it. It's an easy way to make a guide. You don't want to take out your containers and everything else because you're already going to know based on what the recipe is, what each serving has. Because I'm going to share the recipe. So that's going to happen. So that's it. Those are my tips for today. If you have any questions, hey James. If you have any questions, let me know. You can comment below. I'm going to put this post up there. And you can also reach out to me, but I will respond. And I'm going to post that recipe later on this week, either today or tomorrow. Be on the lookout for it. So that's my Coach Jamie cooking tips, healthy cooking, clean eating tips of the week. And that's my burgers. So go ahead, have fun, make your burgers, make them and bring them to your parties. And that way you can stay eating healthy and you got burgers. Best of both worlds, I'm telling you. Love you all.